And welcome everybody, 505 interview series, and I just realized how dirty my camera is. Holy cow. Let's clean that. There we go. I want you all to intake me in the full HD that I am. Welcome everybody to the 505 interview series. Glad to see you all here. Tonight's special show, we're going to continue in on our lounge series that we got going on, and I've got Mike from the Cigar Buddha Lounge. His partner Sam will be joining us. He's having a little bit of technical difficulties getting on, and I'm for some reason getting a bunch of feedback. There we go. Let's fix that. So, without further ado, bring on Mike, the Cigar Buddha himself.
How's it going?
Welcome, Mike. How are you doing, sir?
Not too bad, not too bad. Just, decompressing after a travel day down to Florida for a customer. So,
the ins and outs, and we're going to learn all about the ins and outs of the mobile cigar lounge life. So, your partner Sam is having a little bit of technical difficulties getting on. So, as soon as he gets in, we will bring him on screen as well. But until then, I want to hand it over to you. So, go on ahead, introduce yourself, introduce your brand, what it is you guys do, and then we will carry forward from there.
Sounds like a plan. So, as he said, I'm Mike. Sam and I, when we came up with this, we originally were going to do a physical location and have a brick and mortar, and we ran into some issues with that, and the bank wouldn't work with us. So it's one of those things with just like with Instagram and Facebook and stuff like that, you got to be careful with using tobacco and talking about it, and they like to silence you. So there's a lot of banks that don't want to deal with tobacco, as there is a lot of banks that don't want to deal with CBD and stuff like that. So we got shot down there, and then we were just thinking, well, what are we going to do next? And doing a mobile lounge was kind of part of the business plan from the get-go. And we're like, well, we'll just work backwards with the whole thing. We'll get the building going and get things up and running, and kind of build a clientele, and then we'll go the mobile lounge way, so we can go out to events and have people rent the lounge, and we can go to whatever event that they're doing, weddings, golf outings, bachelor parties, bachelorette parties, whatever event that they want it at and want to enjoy cigars at, that's where we'll be. So now we've got a 32-foot RV that we are currently in the middle of remodeling the inside and trying to get that together and ready March sometime. And it's been a roller coaster, man. We officially were a business in August of 2021. We got our LLC and all that. Then with Illinois and the laws that they have with tobacco license and what you have to do and so on and so forth, I had to nail down some things as far as they require you to have a license for each location that you sell at. So I couldn't get an answer from them of, well, we are, we'll be mobile, moving from spot to spot, and the business is tied to my address. So do I still need one for each location? And I kept getting told yes. So finally got around all that and found out that no, as long as it's just that one, and you obviously keep it with you, that it's not an issue. So currently we have our website is live, and we sell all of our cigars online as well as we have some daggers that are handmade. We have some nice Zippo cases and a nice cutter that we had made. And then all of our cigars that we have, except for one of them that's on the website, all of them are boutique brand cigars. So we have OM, we have Belladama, we have Natoro, we have uh, Espinal Puro, we have Legion Concept, we have Traficante, Brothers Smoking Stogies, which that one, they have a Cuban cigar that we sell that is a all Cuban leaf cigar and is absolutely phenomenal. We carry LCA, and I know I'm forgetting something, but we've got quite a few in stock and ready to go. So that's where we're at.
So, on top of being a mobile lounge itself, you're also like a mobile brick and mortar as well.
Essentially, yes. Yeah.
And that was easier to do than actually get the licensing and the laws for being a mobile lounge itself.
No, so the really what it is we need a tobacco license to be able to sell the cigars, and eventually we're going to bring in pipe tobacco and stuff, which that covers the whole thing right now. And then, we want to do cigar rolling classes and stuff, but we need another license for that. And because it is a product that we would be making and selling, we need a tobacco producer's license, even though we're not going to be a tobacco producer. But because it'll be a partially made product and the customer would pay for that, we have to have that license in order to sell it. So the tobacco license is the same whether you're a standalone building or, in our case, a mobile lounge.
Okay. So you say you're down in Florida for a customer, so you are basically traveling the nationwide to handle events, just not in the state of Illinois.
Well, so what I'm down here for is my full-time job.
Oh, okay.
the job that pays the bills right now. So
okay. Okay, so you're going to be just limited to Illinois then on what you're doing. Are you looking, once you get really going, to start moving into more of a national level then?
For a time being, we'll probably be limited to our northern part of Illinois and probably southeast Wisconsin, over to probably Janesville, Wisconsin, and Rockford, Illinois, over towards Iowa, that kind of area. So we just kind of the thing is with all that, if you go, even though you have a tobacco license in a state, that doesn't necessarily mean that you can go into another state and just operate under that tobacco license. So it all depends on what those states require and how we have to obtain those.
Okay. Well, that is pretty dope. I gotta admit, that. And are you going to be traveling with that RV you guys are modeling up?
Yep.
From event to event. See, now that's cool because I've talked to other mobile lounges out there, and they have, and they're like, oh, we just travel. We don't have an actual like RV or trailer we bring with us. We just travel with that. But the fact that you're going to be traveling with an actual RV or trailer with you to these events. Now that's cool. That brings like a real mobile feel to what you're getting.
Right. Exactly.
There's Anthony. Anthony thinks it's dope too. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's like I said, when we were thinking about it, and when we kind of got squashed with the bank, and kind of on the fly thinking, we're like, well, let's just change gears really quick, because the whole thing with the building is we had a building that we almost had locked up, and we were waiting to get things done with the bank, and someone basically came in and swooped in and took the building. So then we had to kind of just change things up and think on the fly. And we're just like, well, we could probably get it started cheaper buying an RV, and all we got to do is yeah, all we have to do is rip stuff out and put stuff in. That turned out to be a bigger project than what we thought. But isn't that how it always works?
Yeah.
So we got going with that as quick as we could and tried to find one that was somewhat pretty much done to a point to where we just had to take out maybe some cabinets and some stuff and just to change it over. But we quickly found out how difficult it is with those RVs, because there's screws that hold these cabinets on that you don't know are there, and then all of a sudden you think it should just come loose, and you're sitting here beating on the thing trying to get it off the wall, and then you find a false area that's just covered and has 4 more screws that you got to take out. So it's been quite the adventure working with this thing.
Yeah, it sounds like it's been a real adventure trying to get in on the into it. Now, have you thought about maybe trying to incorporate or move your business to like a better, more tobacco-friendly state, like Pennsylvania or Florida, to really make things easier on yourself to try and get going? Because I think it would be probably easier getting a temporary license going into other states than it would be trying to just set up shop where you're at.
Well, like I said, we have our license, so that was actually the easiest part of the whole thing. Once we were able to find out that we didn't need to get a tobacco license for each location that we set up, because I'm not going to sit there and pay $75 to have a tobacco license to sit in front of somebody's house for a party for 3 hours,
Yeah.
because then all that's tied to you, that's tied to the company, it's tied to their address. Then all of a sudden you're going to get mail at that address. So once we were finally able to get that clarification that didn't need to happen, that made things a lot easier and kind of went a little quicker. It's when we go into other states, then we got to find out what we have to do for those. Like I said, especially Wisconsin, because right now, currently where we're at, we're only 25 minutes from the Wisconsin border. So to get into Kenosha, Milwaukee is only an hour away. Janesville and Beloit, they're like 30-45 minutes away. Then you have Lake Geneva, which Lake Geneva is a very big resorty type town. So during the summer months, that's going to be an opportunity that we can look into. Plus, they have a lot of concert venues up that way. Mm-hmm. So, that's something that we can look at. And, it's stuff like that. So then hopefully in the long run, once we kind of get this settled and we get going with things, we can revisit, getting a building and still having a brick and mortar, and like I said, just work backwards with the whole thing.
So, have you been getting a lot of interest coming from from people wanting to have a mobile lounge service at an event so far? Oh, yeah. Just the build up from it?
Yeah. No, it's like we did an event last September, which obviously we didn't have the RV, but we got some tents and we got some tables and stuff. And it's a radio station. They did it was on a Saturday, and it was just they had Falling in Reverse was there, Jelly Roll was there, Seether was there, or I'm sorry, not Seether, Saliva, and a whole bunch of others. So this radio station does it every year, and it's called 95 Will Rock Fest. So We did that, and people came over and bought cigars, and then talked to us a little bit and found out what we're doing. They're like, and they're grabbing cards and grabbing all the information that they can, and oh, excuse me, they're waiting for us to get the RV going so we can start getting out there.
Well, see, that's awesome. So, and how's the brick and mortar sales been?
um, Last month or the last 2 months of last year, as far as the online sales, I mean, to be expected. It's you're coming up on you had November and December, so you've got the holidays and people buying gifts and so on and so forth. So things kind of slowed down the last couple months of last year, but um, so far the start of this year, we've had quite a few orders through our website, and just it's one of those things. We've only been selling cigars since May of last year, so May of this year will be a year of actually selling cigars. So it's the fact of kind of getting out there and getting our names out there, and what we try to do with customers that are in Illinois that are at least somewhat local. They can they can select a local pickup, and we'll, instead of charging the flat rate to ship it, find a time to either drop it off at their house, or we'll meet them somewhere. We'll give them their cigars, or whatever their order is.
Well, that's pretty cool. And are you also shipping out?
Yep.
That's good. And I checked out your website. You got a very nice website, and I'm kind of a website centric guy who enjoys good websites that are easy to navigate. And your website seems to be pretty pretty user friendly.
Thank you.
So
yeah,
you put it looks like you put a lot of time into it.
Yeah. So I'm usually on the website several times throughout the week, if not several times a day, just checking to make sure things are where they should be. Things nothing's gotten, making sure inventory is right, and so on and so forth. The guy that actually put together our website is someone that I used to work with. I was a field service tech doing ATM machines and cash registers and stuff like that, and so that was like early 2000s. Him and I worked together, and we just kind of stayed in touch over the years. And when I got this idea and I was talking to him, he was like, "Hey," because that's what he does. That's what his business is websites. So he was like, "Hey, let me help you with this, and we'll get you going." So
that sounds pretty good. Do you have any rolling experience?
No, none, no rolling experience. So actually, what we're going to do is we are getting ready in March to go down to Texas for the club that Sam and I are both part of, the Smoke and Dram Society. We are going down there for a meetup. So the guy that makes our cigars, Ultimo Cigars, his name is Tomas. He's in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Okay.
So we've decided that we're going to drive it. So we're going to drive down on the Wednesday before the meetup starts, and that Thursday morning, because from Tulsa to Dallas, where we'll be at, is only 4 hours. So that Thursday morning, we're going to go over to Ultimo Cigars, hang out with Tomas for a little bit, and I've watched him make cigars, but Sam hasn't seen his whole process, so he wants to see the process and what he does. And when we get to that point that we do cigar rolling classes, we're going to lean on him a little bit, or I should say a lot of it, and we're going to get together and go down and have him teach us, what he does, and, learn from that and try to put that together to model our classes after that.
Now, have you thought about going down to Tampa or Miami and learning from some of the older Cuban rollers
Oh,
that sit on the streets just to try and get some different ideas
for
of
sure.
different types of rolling?
For sure, for sure. So, and there's a local. He's out of Chicago. That I actually got put in touch with from one of the members of the club. That they're friends, and he does rolling and stuff too. So, um, we're gonna get together with him, and when we get to that point, probably our first few ones as we get out there and we get going, probably have him do the rolling and get things started.
I got you. Oh, that's pretty cool. I think it's a great idea. You bring in, I think that I love the mobile lounge experience that's being brought, and I love the fact that you're bringing the mobile lounge really as a mobile lounge with the RV.
Right.
And are you you're gonna is this you're gonna also have a fully stocked bar with this, or is this just strictly gonna be rolling free already made rolled cigars and sale cigars?
So Illinois is a little goofy with certain things because it is considered a private event. Essentially, we can do BYOB, but most places won't require a license because it's a private event.
Okay.
So, yeah, and Illinois is kind of goofy with things. So, just like every state, you're not allowed to smoke indoors. So every state has different rules as far as if you do allow smoking indoors, what's allowed with that. So Illinois, since we would allow, if we got to the point of having a brick and mortar, if we allowed smoking indoors, we cannot serve liquor and food, but we could sell prepackaged. So, we could have bottles and cans and, mixes and whatnot, and they could buy it and do it themselves, but we can't serve it to them. So the mobile lounge part of it is a little different because it is private events, and a good majority of the events, unless we're at somebody's house, a good majority of the events are going to be supplying alcohol anyways. So if we go to some sort of festival, or you're at a wedding, or you're at a golf outing, or something like that, that venue is most likely going to be supplying alcohol anyways, so we don't have to worry about that.
And you're gonna be adding pairings in with what you're doing.
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right. So you're adding a lot to the nice experience there, and the
Right.
fact that you kind of have your own mobile brick and mortar shop. Just taking the RV or setting up a table at like you already said, a golf outing or a concert.
Right.
You're already providing a service for people who want to pick up some sticks while they're there.
Right. Exactly. So we there's a lot of things that we want to do. It's just it all hinges on getting the RV up and running, and getting the inside done so we can go to events and do what we have to do. We can go to events and bring a 10 by 20 tent and some tables, and so what we did at the Will Rock Fest is we had four 10 by 10 tents, and we had four 60-inch round banquet tables. So we got nice tablecloths for them, the spandex ones that stretch real nice. We got those, and we put those tables there as chairs, and then we had the two tables that we displayed. So people would come over, buy their cigar, go sit down, have a smoke. We had ashtrays there, whatever. And so that's how we're going to set up and do what we got to do. And it's just as you go and you do things, you say, oh well, we could do this and it'd make this work a little bit easier, or this might be more of an eye catcher to people if you do it this way.
Yeah. Sure.
So it just, as you go on, you do things, you learn other things, or even people suggest some things, and you're like, you know what, that's not a bad idea.
Glad to see you made it in, Ben. I was getting worried not seeing you in the chat. It's, I can't have a good show without you in there being my hype man in the chat room. I love Ben. It's always good when you don't see a regular pop in. You're like, I don't know what's going on. Why isn't Ben here?
Right.
So, I mean, I like that, and I think when you're just starting out, it's a learning experience that you're going to continue to grow upon, and the fact that you learn, that with the few events that you've already done, you've already learned, and that it's going to continue to grow from there. So I think that's
right.
That's something that's just going to continue to make the experience better. And then when you add in the actual rolling of cigars for an event, getting fresh sticks, that's just going to continue to add to the ambiance and the experience that somebody gets.
Yeah, we've got a lot more that we want to add. It's just right now it's one of those things where once we get kind of things rolling and some more sales going and stuff like that, we can go out and we can go pick up. We've been in talks with Black Star Line, Allure Cigars. They're out of Minneapolis. Black Star is out of Chicago. There's another real small brand. It's Elite Chicago. And then there's another one. She goes by Juicy. Basically, all her cigars are infused.
Okay.
Excuse me. So, that brings something, as far as heading towards the female section of the smoking group, that, they come in and, well, they rather just smoke a sweet cigar or a flavored cigar. They'll smoke it with everybody, but they're not a regular, but there are a lot of women that smoke, regular cigars that aren't flavored or sweet tipped or anything like that.
We've had a couple on the show that are.
I mean, everybody starts somewhere. So I know when I was 18, and probably a lot of people have the same story. You're like, cigarettes weren't your thing, and you're more interested in something like a cigar.
Yes.
And you started with Swisher Sweet, White Owl, Backwoods, and you worked up from there.
Boy, I wish I did that.
Yeah.
I started with Padron.
Oh, okay. Well, when I started, I didn't have anybody to go from, and then the first few times it was Swisher Sweets or something like that, and then I actually dated a girl that her dad smoked cigars. So then he started showing me some others, and so then I kind of quickly went from that to smoking your regular everyday Romeo Julietas, Padrones here and there, and then whatever you get your hands on. So, and now that the industry is really blown up, it's really gone insane with the last 5 to 10 years. So, they're looking at something like, I think, was it last year? No, the year before. It was the cigar industry was something like 2.5 or $2.3 billion, and they're looking by like 2025 to be at like 3.5 billion or something like that.
Ben, you are a lucky man that you have us up on the big screen TV. These big, you get these two just big, sexy, handsome men that you get to look at on a big screen TV. You couldn't be any luckier. My gateway to cigars was marijuana. Now I have heard that from a few other people too, that they were potheads and that they evolve from potheads into cigar smokers. So, I mean, you're not the first person to say that, Ben. And it's a 110-inch TV? Well, okay.
Nice.
Nice. So we definitely, how delicious do we look in HD? That's what I gotta know.
Right.
How good do we look in HD? So yeah, I've heard that, from a few potheads that they were, that they evolved in because just marijuana. There was that time that marijuana just, wasn't as cool as it was now, and how it was.
Right.
Oh, well, my goodness, my secret crush has jumped in there. What's up, girl? Glad to see you made it in. It's all beards, yes. His beard's better than mine, so.
Yeah, there's a lot of time. There's a lot of time here.
I do gotta say, I think that you're definitely, I think, in a unique experience with the fact that your mobile lounge is actually mobile and it's a mobile brick and mortar. So that sets you apart from a lot of other mobile lounges that roll out there, despite the fact that you're in Illinois and you got to deal with all that Illinois bullshit.
And really, Illinois, some of it sucks. But the thing is if things go and, we start gaining traction and we get a good foothold and we expand and, do more, it's people like us that can step up and say, hey, you know what? We need to change this. These laws, these regulations, these rules don't apply anymore. They're not, and then you can start getting in the ear of people and saying, hey, what can we do to change this? What needs to be done? So, the thing is when it comes to states and politics and stuff like that, running to another state just so it'd be easier. Yeah, I mean, you could do it. Anybody can do it. But staying in a state and being there and trying to make a change and make it work for not only you, but the industry and whoever else is going to follow you. You got to put up that fight. You got to step up and do it.
I mad respect for doing that because, like I said, it would be easier if you went to a tobacco-friendly state like Pennsylvania, like Florida, set up shop, but still operate out of Illinois. You just have an easier time. But I give you mad respect for just sticking through with it and going through all the BS and everything else that goes with it. I completely agree that that hard work I think will pay off, because I really like your model on what you've got going on, with the Buddha. I think that you've really tapped into a great market that is really, it's travelable, especially with all the events that go on in the Chicagoland area out there. That there's definitely, I think you're filling a need that's missing out there at a lot of those events.
Yep. And with the Cigar Mobile Lounge Association, and with that kind of getting started and still in its infancy but growing rapidly, there's a lot of people throughout the US that have similar setups, and they do their own thing, and that's great. And it's something that the industry kind of knows about a little bit, but it's here in the next probably 5 years or so, all of a sudden it's going to be as regular as food trucks, so it's just one of those things where us and several others we're here on the ground floor right now.
So I wanted to go back to your RV. And is your RV going to be is your RV considered, when it's parked, a stationary building that can't be smoked in, or is it still considered a vehicle, so therefore you can have customers in to light up and smoke inside there?
It's still considered a vehicle. And it's one of those things where there's I have to do some more looking,
Okay.
because there is some cities that'll actually allow you to sit like in a parking lot and just do whatever. There's one in particular that only allows you to sit there for an hour, and then you have to move, and it has to be like, I think it's like 200 feet from where you initially were. So, which is fine. I mean, we could do that, but with something like that, it would have to be, we couldn't put the slide out. You couldn't put the jacks down because it would take too long to do all that setup. But we could, if that's something that we're allowed to do, we could do that and throw it out on Instagram, Facebook. Hey, we're here from this
Yeah,
time
just
to this time. Come see us.
yeah, a pop up lounge.
Right.
Yeah.
So now the city that we're near, which is Fox Lake, Illinois, they will allow it if you get a special use permit.
Okay.
So you have to get a permit, and so with that special use permit, that actually goes to like it goes to City Hall, and they have to vote on it. So now you got to deal with the people that have been sitting in City Hall for who knows how long, and these old people that have to vote on it, and they're like, oh no, smoking's bad. We can't.
Well, they have to open that up. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've heard about that in Cali. The mobile weed lounges that are out there in Cali. Yeah, they cater to the weed industry out there. They do not to the cigar industry.
Right.
Out there. There's a here in Wyoming, we've been fighting for this tobacco tax that's been going through on there that basically changes how cigars are taxed, because right now it's a 20% tax on that's due on the box that if I bought a box from a manufacturer today, the day I get it in, I owe 20% off of the cost on that box. So we're trying to change that law to make that you don't have to pay that 20% tax as a lounge anymore. It's just 30 cents per stick.
Okay.
And so so going through the committee meetings on there, you have to have the anti-tobacco people show up. So they did talk in their anti-tobacco. Oh, we got to protect the kids from cigars because kids are addicted to cigars. And so there's a lot of a lot of the legislators are ranchers and farmers, very rural people, because it's a very rural state. Just started busting out their cans of Copenhagen, throwing dips in while these guys are trying to say how bad tobacco is.
Right.
And that made me laugh really hard, because that's like, here's what we think about your whining and complaining, which I'm glad, So
Exactly.
it passed its first hurdle. It passed through the Senate, and so in 2 weeks it goes up into the House. So we're really pushing hard to get this lobbied through the House on there. Despite the fact that this is a super, super red state, you have a lot of legislators who want to do away with everything taxes. Don't want to hear the word tax. Want to whatever's in place now, leave in place, or abolish everything altogether. And we're trying to, there's this educational aspect on it that this is actually good, because somebody like me, well, if you want to continue with how you're taxing this, I just go and buy it online, because they don't have to pay. If I went and bought sticks from you, you don't have to pay that tax, and I'm not paying a tax on it, so the state's losing money. So why not keep me in state to buy? Why not keep me in state to buy cigars? Yeah. I'll pay 30 cents for I'll pay 30 cents.
Right. Exactly.
But when and he broke. Donovan from Casper Cigar Company broke it down. For them pretty legitimately. He's like, if the MSRP on a box of cigars is $200, that box cost me probably about $150, and then I had to pay 20% on that, so that's $30 for that, and then then my cost of my credit card processing, paying all the bills, paying my employees. Well, I maybe made $3 on that stick.
Right. Yeah.
If I could take that to where I made $15 on that for $200, well, that's money. That's money that I can reinvest in and buy more cigars.
Right. Exactly. So and
there's the man right there, Mister Newman.
Yeah. There he is. So yeah, I mean, even in Illinois, the tobacco tax is I think it's 36%. So, which isn't nearly as bad as some other states like California and I think New York and New Jersey. They're the upper 30s.
It's insane, in a lot of these places that are out there. So 30%, it's good. Look, I don't have to pay 20%. Despite the fact I'm not paying a 20% tax on the cigar I'm buying, the owner is. That 20% is still getting tacked on to what I'm buying, even though it's still cheaper than other states.
Right. I mean,
Ben's going to start growing bourbon, just so you're aware.
Yeah.
I think that's a good choice. Go grow bourbon.
So the thing is that there's a lot of places that basically what they do is what they pay for wholesale for that cigar. They take what that state sales, what that tax is for tobacco, and they build it into the cost of the cigar. So essentially, in most cases, it'll double the cost. So if it's like a $5 stick, it'll make it a $10 stick. Mm-hmm. But that allows for that company to collect the tax to be able to pay it at the end of the year. 2, that'll still allow you some meat on the bone to put away money to buy something else. It's just, unfortunately, it's the nature of the game, and it's ridiculous, but
it is.
Hopefully we can, with a bunch of the new blood coming in that sees things differently, and a bunch of these people that especially are coming up with these ideas of mobile lounges and doing things differently. We have different ideas and different ways we want to do things, and hopefully we can institute that in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I agree completely. I think you've jumped on. Like I said, I think you've jumped onto a good model, because I really dig that whole mobile. It actually being mobile, just not taking a roller and sitting at a table in a tent, but actually getting that feel of,
right.
Hey, I'm walking into an RV that's got full cigar selection, and I can civilize just as if I'm shopping in a humidor.
Yep.
I love that. To me, that's just one of those fantastic ideas.
Yeah. We've got it, at least the way we have it kind of drawn out, and what we want to do. We'll have essentially 2 humidors. One of them is going to be 7 feet long. It's going to come out about 22 inches off the wall, and up the front we have to come up a foot, so it's about 6 foot from the bottom to the top. So you figure each one of those shelves are going to come out probably about 14 to 16 inches, and on those shelves you could probably fit a box and a box behind it in most cases. So you just say a box or a bundle or whatever, 20, 25, that's normal. So we'll probably be able to get 4 to 5 shelves in that one alone, and you figure you could probably fit on one shelf probably a good 120 cigars just on one shelf.
Yeah, that's good. So tell me about your brand, the Cigar Buddha cigar. Tell me about that. I've heard a lot of good things about it.
Well, that's good to hear. So ours, like I said, is made by Ultimo Cigar out of Tulsa. When we kind of started on this thing, we wanted to come up with a cigar that was a cigar that kind of stretched across multiple smoking um, from entry level to, intermediate to expert. We wanted something that I could give to someone and say, hey, you know what? Try this one, see what you think of it. And, someone that's just, hey, I want to get into cigars. Can you suggest a few? And I can give them some light, even though ours isn't really heavy. It's kind of goofy because when you start smoking it, it starts out really light, and you can kind of at times pick up on the full bodiness of it, but it's not like punch you in the mouth. This is something that you have to smoke after a full meal, kind of full body, right? Um, so when we teamed up with Ultimo, and he'll do for individuals, he'll do private blends for individuals, and you contact him up and you kind of give him an idea of what you're looking for, and he'll go out and he'll find the cigars that that you say that you like, and he'll figure out a way to make your cigar resemble all those in one stick. So with us, we knew that we wanted just something different, something that just kind of stood out, that's not going to sit there and, oh yeah, it's good, kind of thing. We wanted something that, someone's going to start smoking and be like, hey, you know what? That's different. It's good and it's different. And I think that's what we accomplished with the Indra. So it has a Mexican San Andreas wrapper. Oh, excuse me. It's got a Corojo and a broadleaf binder. And then it's got a Nicaraguan and what's the other one now? I got to think of it. And a Cameroon filler. And it is absolutely phenomenal cigar. It's one of those. It's like it's like a potluck of cigars, right? You've got all these different flavors in there, and literally as you smoke through it, you hit every single one of them as you go through it. It's crazy.
So African Cameroon, Dominican Cameroon, oh.
African Cameroon.
Boy, you spent some money on that. That's not cheap tobacco.
Right. Yeah.
Wow. Already you already piqued my interest. Ah, dang, man. Now I wish I would have bought some before you came on. I would love to be sitting there smoking that stick tonight. That sounds great. So why the double binder?
So it's kind of funny because when he puts together the sample, he'll take the filler and he'll put the filler with a binder, and what he does is he takes each individual leaf that is in that cigar, from the filler to the binder to the wrapper, and he puts them in baggies. And so what he wants you to do with that process is take each one out, roll them up, somewhat
your own
respectable.
Fumas. Huh? Roll your own fumas with them, so you smoke each separate one separately, so you get a good feel for what each leaf will bring to the table, and then kind of smoke them all. Then smoke them all together at once, so you can see how they all taste together.
Yep. So then what he does is, after you get through the baggies, then he's got the semi-finished product, which has all the filler and the binder, and then he'll have two finished products. So in our case, one was a Maduro wrapper, and one was a I forget what the other one was. The other one was the Mexican San Andreas wrapper. So when Sam and I smoked those and we got to that point, they were both good. And the problem was we're like, you know what? We're just not sure. So I was like, hey, can you put a Corojo in, as on the wrapper, and try to do a barber pole kind of setup?
Okay.
And he was like, well, I'll try it, but with the Corojo and the Mexican San Andreas, there wasn't enough color difference to really
That's
see
okay.
that barber pole.
That's okay. I gotta
Yeah,
say, for me, the barber poles, I love dark on dark barber poles.
right.
I love the flavoring that comes from those. So it really, for me, I would definitely, I'd be really interested in the dark on dark.
Right. So he sent me a picture and I looked at it and I'm like, but the thing was you couldn't really see, it was there was no definition of which one was which. So I was like, you know what? Okay. I said, what can we do? Because it just needs it needs something. He goes, well, I could put the Corojo as another wrapper or a binder, and then you just have a double binder. I'm like, okay, let's try it. So we did it. He sent out the samples. We got it. That was the first one we smoked. We picked up that one and we lit it up. And immediately when we lit it up, we're like, yeah, this is it.
That's awesome.
So then we kind of sat there and we smoked the whole thing and just kind of reconfirmed, you get through the third, you get through, the second, third. And every time we looked at each other, we're like, yeah, this is it. But to be fair, we turned around and we grabbed the other one and we said, let's smoke this one and just see what we got. And it was like we got through the first third and we're like, yeah, definitely, it's definitely the other one. So it was a really cool experience to kind of go through and, to learn that little bit of the process. And, it's something that when you sit back and you look at it, you're like, it's like that proud papa moment, because you had a part in creating that and making that, and then you send it out and people start smoking it and you get feedback from it, and it's all positive feedback, and you're just like you kind of give that sigh of relief, but you're just like you want to pound your chest and say I did it, so
No, I guess that the whole blending process. It's long. It's tedious. You smoke a lot of trash, but when you hit that one, you just just know it. It talks to you that this is the blend. This is the blend that we've been looking for. Yeah, it really, a light shines down. You hear angels singing. You're just like, we got it. This is what we're looking for.
That's exactly what it was, and it was just like there was no hesitation. I mean, we both lit it, and we were a couple puffs into it, and we just kind of looked at each other, and we're just like, yeah, this is what we're looking for. This is what we want. So, the best way I can kind of describe it is, and I'm a big Plasencia fan, and I love the Alma del Fuego. So if you took the Alma del Fuego and the CAO V21 and you put those together, that's pretty much the experience that you get out of the Indra.
Very good. Wow. All right, so now I know I need to hit up the cigarbuddha.com and think I'm going to have to place me an order on a couple of them. You've
cracking up.
You've piqued my interest.
I'm cracking up on Ben's comment here about the porta potties. See, luckily we have a 32-foot RV and it has a bathroom in it, so we just got to make sure the tank is empty.
Yes, exactly. I think what I think you got something. So the Indra, is that gonna be a standalone brand from you, or is that gonna be like your house blend or your house brand?
I mean that's gonna be our house brand, possibly. We've thrown around doing some other stuff, and going through Ultimo, kind of once we get settled and we get the ability to go through it again. Mm-hmm. One thing that we have talked about it is Sam's dad has helped us quite a bit with this project, and helped us as far as money wise to get us going. And so we've tossed around the idea of getting together once we get a chance and making a cigar and naming it after him. And so that's something that is kind of in the works. And once we get to a point that we can make that decision and we can put the money down to do it, we'll do it. um, I've got a personal idea that I have down that, once we get to the point to where, because like I said, I'm a field service technician for Panasonic. So I work on machines that place components on circuit boards. So when it gets to the point that I can't do both of these jobs together anymore, then Panasonic's got to go, obviously, because I mean, you can't just say, hey, well, I'm going to stick with Panasonic, even though I've built this from the ground up and I've made this what it is. I'm gonna bounce. But Panasonic's been good to me, and it's allowed me to do the things that I want to do.
I say the same thing. Look, us blue collar guys, that's kind of our dream, is to hit into something that we can make money at, and just kind of walk in and go, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done turning a freaking wrench. I'm done with it. I'm done crawling through ceilings. I'm done shoving myself into cabinet. That's like the blue collar dream. Like I would love to just walk into my boss's office, toss my badge and my keys on his desk. Deuces.
Yeah. So I've got this idea of when I get to that point and I have to make that decision, how I'll go about it. And matter of fact, my immediate manager, he had asked me one day when he found out I was doing this. He was like, "So, are you going to leave Panasonic?" I said, so he was like, "Okay." So like I said, I have an idea in mind and how I want to do it, and what I want to do for it, and I'm going to have a special cigar to commemorate that day, and it may be a regular cigar that people will be like, hey, you know what? That's a great idea. There's a great story behind the name of that cigar, and you know what? I want to do the same thing. So it's just kind of one of those things.
Yeah, for us guys who both work for multi-billion-dollar multinational conglomerates as field service technicians, we are,
we've earned it.
We've earned it. I do. We've earned it. I've grinded away for almost 15 years as a field service tech, and I think I'm going to reach that point where I really hope I can move on and just not have to do that anymore. Not wake up in the morning and go, ugh, man, another day with my legs that don't work very well. Oh, did we lose Mike? Oh, Mike, you're frozen and cannot hear you. Oh, there you are.
Okay, I was gonna say it's probably this crappy Wi-Fi at the hotel.
That's all right. We got you. We got you back. We're good. We're good. We got you back. That's awesome. I love those stories. I'm always rooting for all my blue collar brothers out there to hit big on something so they can move on with their life into something that they're really passionate about wanting to do.
Right.
I'm rooting every day. I'm like, I hope I do, and I'm rooting for you, man. I'm really rooting that you can that you can that this really takes off. That I see you out on the road somewhere, just Here I am. I'm coming to an event
Yep.
in your town today.
Yeah, and that's what we're looking forward to. We're looking forward to being out there and being able to be at multiple different events, and maybe down the road having multiple units that we can cover different events at the same time, um, and just roll with it and just see what happens. But we definitely want to get back to the point to actually having a physical location, and that's kind of the end goal of it all, because especially out where we live. I don't know how familiar you are with Northern Illinois, um, but we live up by the chain of lakes.
Okay.
So it's like 17 lakes that are all tied together, that have been around for forever. And we now that we've had happen what happened to us and losing the building that we had, we want to get a building that has lake access and have their own pier, and we can have people pull up off the water and come in and enjoy a cigar and see where it goes from there.
Get your own pontoons so you can go out on the lake and do a mobile, really a mobile lakefront lounge. That would be cool
Exactly.
too. Yeah, man. I think you guys are really on. I think you guys are really on to it. And go, oh, Mr. Andy, what's going on, guy? How you doing, man?
So yeah, it's just you got to take it as it comes, and you got to get through. You got to get through the hard times, and right now is the hard times. This is the building. This is the getting through it. This is the dealing with. Well, are we going to be able to buy more cigars this month, or are we going to be able to do this? And
so, are
you
going to be looking at going to trade shows to try and work stuff out with some of the brands that are there?
So our focus and what we've set forward to do, our main focus, and we're going to carry mainstream brands too, but our focus is going to be boutique brand cigars. That's what we set out to do. We looked at it as, I have cigars from, I have Black Star Line, I have Allure cigars, I have Belladama, I have Big Sky, I have pretty much every single cigar that we carry are cigars that I have in my personal humidor right now. There's some that we don't carry yet that I have in my personal stash, but we want to get McAuliffe, we want to get Black Star Line, we want to get Big Sky. We don't have them yet. Family Loyalty is another one that we're going to go out and get. GTO
I love
cigar.
Alan. Yeah, I love Alan. Alan makes great sticks.
We met him back in August at the Boutique Cigar Festival in Indiana, and it was an absolute blast. Absolute blast. It was a lot of fun.
I do. I love Alan, and and you've already got a relationship with Fred from Espinal Puro, and I love Fred. Yep. Fred's such a great dude. And are you going to be looking at adding on to some of the other Illinois brands that are centric there? Because you already said Black Star Line, so there's one. Ancestry is another, and
708's another.
708, yep. So there's a lot of good small brands out there,
right.
and I'm happy for Eric from Black Star Lines. He's really starting to blow up out there, which is long overdue because he makes fantastic cigars.
Yeah, well, and the thing is I've been in talks with him for a while, even before we started this whole thing. And when Sam and I decided that we were going to do this, I messaged him. I said, "Hey, this is what we're going to do. we would, we're going to keep in touch, and I want to carry, because at that time there was nobody in Illinois that carried Black Star line. Uh, there, as far as I know, there is still not a lounge. There is one store that carries Black Star that I know of, but there is no lounge in Illinois that carries Black Star line. Um, I said I want to be the first, because I love his product. I love the cigars. They're fucking phenomenal. And so we've been talking back and forth, and it just every time we every time we make a couple steps forward to buy, a little bit here and a little bit there, then we can't buy this or we can't buy that. So it's getting there, though. That's going to be one of our next purchases, and we're definitely going to have the Dark War Witch and the original War Witch, and
the Lollybella.
Yes, that one.
I love the Lollybella.
That one is a banger, dude.
That's one of my favorite cigars. That just as a daily smoke out there.
Yeah.
Amendola. Yeah, Amendola makes fantastic sticks. I love. Yep. Jeff's such a good dude and really down to earth, and I haven't had a bad Amendola stick.
So, but yeah, that's been our focus. Is that we're focusing on the small brands, the small guys that are trying to make it, the ones that are like us.
Yeah.
And like I said, we'll carry around by us. Acids are very popular. Deadwood series is very popular. There's a lot of the sweet tip type cigars that are popular in our area. So we know that we have to carry those types of cigars. And then Monte Cristo is very popular. Padron is. And you're going to have those people that are going to be like, well, I don't know anything that you have here, and it's not what I normally smoke, so I'm not going to smoke it.
That's where the education aspect comes in.
Right. So, you're going to have that education aspect, but you're also going to be like, okay, I do have this, but, this cigar, and this cigar are very similar to what that is. And, you might want to take a try. So, that's just kind of one of those things where, because there's going to be some people that are just going to be like, nope, I'm not trying it. This is what I want. And this is what you should carry because I'm here.
Have you been to the Deadwood Tobacco Company before?
No, I have not. It's
awesome. I mean, think about what a tobacco shop would look like in the Old West, and then going in there. They have their own tobacconists. That will do custom blends for you. That will do their own rolly blends. Put them in the leather pouch and everything.
Nice.
It's super cool. It's one of the coolest places I have ever been, because you walk in there. Yeah, it's a cigar shop. Yeah, it's a tobacco shop. Yeah, they do pipe tobacco and rolly tobacco, but they're doing custom blending for you there as well. They're cutting it up for you as well. So I mean, it's super cool. Anybody who's ever in western South Dakota, I mean, it's a place you definitely need to stop by and check out. Oh, Ben.
Oh, that's funny.
So anybody watching on Facebook, LinkedIn, or on YouTube, down in the description I've got links to everything Cigar Buddha out there, so you can find them. You can get in contact with them. If you're looking at having an event later on in the spring or in the summer, and you're in that northern Illinois, western Indiana, and southern Wisconsin area, definitely hit him up. Has his, again, will have his own mobile lounge going, a mobile brick and mortar. So if you got an event, definitely look at hitting Mike up, because he will definitely, looks like he'll be catering to what your needs are, what you want to do for your event.
Yeah, pretty much. If you message on Instagram or the phone number. If you text that phone number, it'll be me that you most likely talk to. Um, Sam also runs another business, so he's in cars and detailing cars and shit like that. So um, he doesn't hear his phone all the time. So
Good,
with
good,
me working on machines and stuff, I usually have my phone in front of
good,
me.
good
But
question there from Andy. Do you ship to all states?
yes, we do.
There
We
you
ship
go.
to every state.
Definitely. And he's got a very good selection of cigars. Very good boutique line selection that he offers on there. Plus his house blend, the Indra, which sounds like it's a cigar everybody needs to have in their life.
Yep, it definitely is.
Yeah. So yeah, very good question there, Andy. Does ship to all states, which is awesome out there. So, man, that's so cool. So yeah, the cigarbuddha.com for all of your mobile cigar lounge needs, all of your brick and mortar boutique, small batch and limited run needs.
Yep.
He's got you. Mike's got you covered. Any way you could possibly think. It sounds like Mike's got you covered on what you need.
We're trying. So the one thing we got going is the LCA releases that are coming up for February. Uh, so one of them is called Massacre, which is modeled after the St. Valentine's Day Massacre, and the other one's called Dragon Fruit. So we got those coming out. We'll probably have those. Usually they get them to us like the latter end of January, like 2 weeks before they're actually released. So they're probably going to do it something, since the Massacre one is named for the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. It's probably going to be sometime around Valentine's Day that those get actually dropped. But so we'll have those up there as soon as we're allowed to drop them. We'll have them up there and we'll drop them.
Does it taste like blood?
I don't know yet. We haven't gotten them in yet. So
That's right. So if you ask Mike when he gets them in if it's very coppery.
if it has a little metallic taste,
A little metallic taste to it. Yes, exactly. Exactly. That's awesome. Oh my goodness, Mike. Andy, thanks for hopping on, man. Appreciate you coming, checking it out. Thank you much, bro.
Yes.
Excellent. So, yeah, going ahead. I'll hand it over to you to finish off. Anything you'd like to promote, feel free.
We are doing and I've got the picture on my phone, but we're doing a challenge coin that is going to be able to sit on top of a Glencairn glass. So it'll have a little ridge in it on the bottom, so it'll sit on there and it's not going to fall off. It'll also have a spot where it can double as a cigar rest. So it would be our logo on the front, and on the back of it, it'll be our tagline. The whole secret to life is smoking great cigars. So that'll be on the backside. Yeah, that is very true. So those, we're going to do a pre-order of those, and once I'm able to get the picture up on the website, we'll be able to start taking pre-orders of those. But they'll be and they're thick, they're thick, they're heavy, they're big, because it's going to sit on top of a Glencairn glass.
We had some of those for a charity event we did during the summer that had made for a charity event, and they're totally awesome.
So those are going to be $45 each, and so once they're up on the website and we get orders in, about I think 30-ish orders is kind of the target to be able to actually start them making them. And then it'll be from the time that they start to the time that they get delivered, be about 3 to 4 weeks, at least to me. And then I can ship them out to who's ever ordered from there. We are going to do a giveaway when we hit 2,000 followers. I think we're just shy of 1,600 right now. And when we do our giveaways, all the stuff that we do, we go out and with our own money, and we go out and we buy stuff and cigars from not only, well, in this case, it not only be from our personal selection but from our inventory. We'll throw those in. We had the last giveaway we had a nice humidor that we threw in there. Actually, a couple nice humidors. Um, we had a couple bottles of bourbon that we threw in there. One of them was Smoke Wagon. Um, so we try to make it to where we get it's a giveaway that multiple people are going to win. I think there's like 6 to 8 people that won with the last giveaway, something like that. So, it's not going to be a giveaway to where it's, because everybody sits there and they follow the directions and they sit there and they hope and they pray and only one person is going to win. So we like to try to make sure that we get a good amount of people that win and come back. So we'll do that when we hit 2,000, and we'll make sure we throw in some good stuff. There'll definitely be some bourbon involved, and like I said, some cigars not only from our personal stock but from our inventory. And we have a real nice Zippo lighter that, or at least the case. I don't know if you know, but it's KM Metalworks.
Yes, I've heard of them.
Okay, so that's who made our Zippo cases, and did an amazing job.
He does. He is one of the best metal fabricators I've seen out there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and you had Bennett Bourbon. See? There you go, Ben. See?
Yeah.
See? Even more of a reason to make sure you're following the Buddha over on the gram.
That's right. So, we try to stay really current with our Instagram and our Facebook, and it's like I said, it's me that's running both of those. So
it's a full-time job to keep up with social media. Yeah, it's a full-time job.
I never thought I've got 3 Instagram accounts. I've got 3 Facebook accounts. I've got I kind of have a Twitter account for the Cigar Buddha, but really haven't done much for it. Huh. Oh, Sam just jumped in.
There he goes. Hey, hi, Sam.
So that's it. Interview's over. Yeah. Sam's in.
There you are. Yeah, social. At times I get so I'm like, dude, I don't want. Man, I gotta go and promote and post things on Instagram, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Twitter and all this, and it's just like there's times, there's times, especially with my job and the travel that I do with my job, and just constantly being under fire from the customer, and working with the machines and this and that and another, and then I get home for the weekend and I'm just like, phone, go away. Just I don't. But I know that I have to, at least the business aspect of it, I have to promote it, and I have to do things, and I have to stay current, because if you don't stay current, people forget you. Yes, exactly. And it's out there. Kevin Shahan, Cigar Prop, told me a long time ago. He goes, don't think anybody's not paying attention when you're posting on a certain site. He goes, because you'll be surprised who's watching you where. So when I throw the videos up on LinkedIn, I'm honestly shocked when I look at the analytics on they may not be watching what I'm doing live, but I look at the after, how many people have watched the replay on LinkedIn, and I'm like, damn, man, that's it's one of those things, it's surprising to me. I'm like, okay. But on LinkedIn, everybody on there, it's all industry people. It's the professionals. It's the people whose faces you don't know who are watching.
Exactly. So, we try to keep things going, and Um, just over the weekend, we did an IG live on Saturday. We hadn't done one in a while, and we were in the RV doing some work, and we are just like, okay, well, let's kind of jump on and do an IG live just to give everybody kind of an update on what's going on and show them what's being done. And it turned into, we ended up bringing some people into the live, and because we also teamed up with uh, Cigar Chat with Jeff. He does a podcast, and he's actually from our group, and he asked if we would sponsor him and kind of feed them cigars so they can do reviews and so on and so forth. So it's a couple people from our group, and when we get the new releases of the LCA and whatever new cigars that we get, we'll send to them. They'll do a review on it and put it on. They'll do an IG live, and then they put it up on YouTube and so on. So we brought them into the IG live, and we started talking with them, and it just turned into, okay, well now we're just going to shoot the shit and kind of fuck around a little bit. So
those are kind of my favorite shows to do, though.
Right.
Is,
yeah.
That's why I like the Thursday night show. Because it's not all about the cigars. It's just about the fuckery. And that's what makes the Thursday night show, I think, a lot of fun to do, is because it's just, we're just hanging out. We're talking about what in the Old West, what would make the best hooker.
So it just turned into shooting the shit and having a good time, and we talked for a little bit and talked some business, and talking amongst ourselves as far as with everybody else there, and we don't care that they know what we have planned, because that's what we want people to know what we're doing.
Yeah.
And we want people to be ready for what's going to happen next. So it's just one of those things where you always got to evolve, and the answer is sheep.
Well, the consensus was missing a limb.
Yeah. So we always want there to be progress. So if you sit idle, nothing happens. So we keep pushing forward and trying to put out new stuff, and try to keep up with new cigars and new stuff that's out there. Eventually, once we get into the situation to where we can afford to do it, both Sam and I, we're going to go and we're going to do we're going to get certified to be tobacconists and stuff like that. So that's, to me personally, if you're going to do something like this and you're going to run a cigar lounge, or you're going to run, even if it's just a cigar shop, and there's so many of them where you walk in and you're just like, they try to talk to you about cigars, and you can just pick up, you're like, yeah, you don't know what you're talking about. We want to be the ones that if someone walks in, they ask us a question, we can give them the answer. And I think at that point, if you run a business like this, you should have that certification to say that what you're talking about, and that you're not going to lead them in the wrong direction.
I agree. I think that's especially with the newer people that are coming in all the time into the hobby. I think a lot of them get a lot of bad information out there from a lot of people.
Yes.
They want to be educated, but understanding who to talk to and who to listen to, I think, is one of their biggest downfalls to what they into it, because they get set down a wrong path, and having somebody who understands tobacco, what they need to do, I think, is important to the important to continuously grow our community.
100%.
Excellent. Mike, I loved having you on. Thank you so much for carving out the time to
Yeah, no,
talk about your lounge. Love to have you back on once you get the lounge up and going and moving
for
and
sure.
ready to go. Love to have you back. For everybody out there, tomorrow night, Raw Cigar Reviews, Ryan and I, we have Juan from Protocol Cigars will be our guest, and we will be live reviewing the Dojo 10 from Protocol Cigars and the guys from Cigar Dojo. And, of course, Thursday night, the fuckery and the shit show that is the Thursday night hangout with Wrench and myself. Feel free to join in. And next Monday night, we got Scott Diggs from Compass Rose Cigars will be the guest. So, a veteran-owned company that gives back a large portion of their sales back onto back to veteran groups out there and supporting the troops. So, make sure you all tune in next Monday night for that. And Scott, I'll give you the final word. I mean, Mike, I'll give you the final word.
Nah, I mean, all I gotta say is we're here to stay. We're here for any questions. Shoot us a text, message us on Instagram or Facebook. We'll get to you. Go check out the website. I mean, we've got some phenomenal stuff there. The daggers that we have are actually handmade by my mom, and we're getting ready to add some new stuff. So, and you just got to remember, the whole secret to life is smoking great cigars.
Excellent. Everybody, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us tonight. Mike, appreciate you coming on, and everybody, we will see you next week. Peace out, everybody.